Mr. Traveler.
Drivers to fabric sellers who have welcomed me home with open arms, all my aunties, uncles, brothers, and sisters who have repatriated to Ghana and in effect paved the way to afford me this platform and opportunity to substantially contribute to this movement. And last but certainly not least, the general public in attendance. I want to thank you in advance for your attention, understanding, and partnership as we move forward with the task of successfully executing the Year of Return Ghana 2019. My name is Diallo Sumbry. I'm the CEO of the Adinkra Group. We are an African cultural resource company based in Washington, D.C. I am forever indebted to my family, specifically my mother, for the sacrifices that she made to ensure that I grew up with as much of an understanding as possible that I am an African born in America and was afforded the benefit to have as much of a realistic view as possible of African culture, its people, and traditions as she could by researching, teaching, and making sure I visited the African continent as a young man with my brothers and sisters. So Mom, you're not here, but thank you. You should know that my allegiance after God and to my family is to the work required to continue the efforts set forth by Osajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and many other great African and African diaspora leaders. I maintain, as he eloquently stated, I am not African because I was born in Africa, but because Africa was born in me. I'm very clear that the work and path that lies ahead of us is far greater than and more important than any of my own personal or business interests. That is far more important than any individual, any organization, any office, any title, or position here today. That the collective responsibility of us reversing the tragedy and evil of the transatlantic slave trade belongs to all of us. And as Dr. Kwame Nkrumah also stated, the forces that unite us are intrinsic and greater than the superimposed influences that keep us apart. That all people of African descent, whether they live in North America or South America, the Caribbean, or in any part of the world, are Africans and belong to the African nation. As sure of the fact that this is our birthright as I am of the fact that Ghana has the best jollof in the world. The road ahead as we embark on this campaign, the Year of Return Ghana 2019, will not be an easy or smooth road. We have approximately 4 months, or 18 weeks, or 127 days, or 3,048 hours before the ball drops and we are celebrating the new year. That means we have even less time to become fully prepared, which means we can't afford to waste any time if we truly want to be successful in this effort. Things are going to move quickly, as they should, following the launch, in order to take advantage of the time and partners that we have in place to complete and execute a measured, centralized, and cohesive strategic plan that makes the best use of whatever resources and relationships we, as a steering committee, have and are able to consolidate towards this effort. Just as Ghana led the way towards African independence from colonial rule in the late 1950s and 60s, Ghana is now afforded the opportunity to lead the continent of Africa into and through the next 400 years of uniting our brothers and sisters across the diaspora by connecting the dots and retracing our steps back across the Atlantic to reconnect with our culture, to redevelop Africa, to redirect our resources, to reimagine our future, and to reclaim our destiny as the descendants of the birthplace of civilization as we know it. This too is our collective birthright. As we move forward, I ask that you have the faith that this moment and movement is ordained by the Most High, and everyone who has been put in place to make this happen are the right people to lead the effort with your assistance. That all critical assessments of the movement are founded in valid, reliable, and factual evidence accompanied by and inclusive alternative solution. That we remember action without thought is empty and thought without action is blind. All signs point to now as the pivotal moment in history for this undertaking. Our CEO of the Tourism Authority mentioned a chapter in the Bible in Genesis about 400 years. We are also in the middle of the decade of the people of African descent, led down by the UN. This is also an historic year in the United States of America through H.R. 1242, Public Law 108, signed into law January 8th, 2018 by the current President Donald Trump, the 400 Years of African American Experience Act. So for the first time in the U.S. history, there's an act and law on the books that state the Congress has to help and support to commemorate 400 years of the African American experience. I also want to say that this effort and campaign is also bigger than Ghana. Let's not forget the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent. And I would also add the African diaspora. So the task that we are faced with here, with which Ghana is leading, is also very important for the rest of the African continent. Let's make sure that we follow the lead of the Asante Hene and the Ocha Hene as they displayed in royal majestic fashion at the Grand Derby this Thursday to settle any differences that we may have with one another, whether it's with our wife, whether it's with our brother, whether it's with a former associate of an organization, so that we can settle any differences we may have and at the minimum make a concerted effort to begin that process so we can capitalize off the momentum of our collective energy towards reconciliation, healing, and peace. What better way to commemorate the anniversary of our survival than to make a pledge and commitment to work towards our greater global well-being as African people. Again, I'm extremely pleased to be a member of the steering committee. I pledge to you, everyone here, as a member of the steering committee, to do my best to ensure that the plan that we set forth is successful, is measured, is calculated, and it's inclusive as well as transparent so that you all can know what it is that you need to do to help the effort. Again, thank you for your attention, your understanding, and your partnership. Forward ever, backward never. Madasi.